What's up, Internet? Nerdlocker.com here, and we've got this week's comic book reviews. I'm starting off with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 23. Last couple issues, this book has really gotten fast-paced and really awesome. Some crazy things have happened. Last issue, Casey got stabbed like really bad, and he's like dying and bleeding everywhere. And Leo gets kidnapped by all the foot soldiers and Shredder. Now, what I think is cool is this whole issue kind of mirrors both of these scenarios, at least in the beginning of the issue. You see how both sides are handling having each person with their dilemma. And what they do, or what Shredder decides to do, is actually pretty cool. I want to see how this changes the dynamic of the team, what the future holds for the book. They kind of brainwash him and let him know like that everything he's been raised to know as a Ninja Turtle through Master Splinter and all this is wrong, and that Shredder is his true master. And it's really cool. It's something I definitely didn't see coming. I didn't know what their intention was for kidnapping him, but I like this issue a lot. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 nerd skulls. You guys need to be reading this book.
Hey there guys, Cubby here with my comic reviews for this week. First up, I got to read The Last of Us American Dreams number 3. Now, if you saw my pick last week, you know that Last of Us was my pick. And it's actually a really awesome game, really great story. It's cinematic, you play through it. I've never played Uncharted, but everyone's like, oh my god, it's Uncharted and Walking Dead. So pretty much gives you an idea of what kind of story it's dealing with. It's very heavy, very mature, very emotional, very deep. It pulls you in and like it gives layers and like it's like an onion, man. It's crazy. The more you get in there, the more you cry. It's totally true. And so I decided to give this a chance. I actually hadn't read the first two, and I'm just whatever. I'm going to just jump into it. And it's really cool because it tells you the story of Ellie and how she became what she is in Last of Us. I'm not going to give away this plot twist. It's really early in the game. It's really cool, and you're like, oh, what? And it's really awesome, and that's kind of like one of the big draws of the game. But I'm pretty sure it tells this story of how this becomes a thing and how it happens, and she talks about it within the game. So to see that, being that that's the one thing after I played the game that I wanted more of that story, this is really awesome. And then plus the artwork, it looks like Brian Lee O'Malley, but it's not Brian Lee O'Malley, but it looks like him. So it has like a cartoony feel to it, but it's really dark and it's really gory and suspenseful. And I read it really quickly. I actually read it way quicker than I thought it would. But that's really good in a story that brings you in and keeps you going. That's what I loved about reading The Walking Dead when I first started reading it. You just want to go and you just want to keep reading, and you're done with an issue before you even realize. You're done with the trade paperback within like 15 minutes, which is really weird and rare. Anyways, this was a really awesome book. Goes with the story that I wanted it to, and it tells exactly what I wanted to, and it's done to the same standards as the game. And the game's been like the highest rated game ever. So I'm definitely giving this 4 out of 5 nerd skulls. It could have been a little cooler, but it's still awesome. Check it out.
Hey guys, this is Haley, and this week I got to read Guardians of the Galaxy number 4, and I have to tell you to begin with that I have been loving this series from the beginning, and this issue might actually be my favorite issue so far. There is such great interaction between all the characters. It's very fast paced. I didn't even notice the time that I was spending reading it because I just flew through this book. It was such a joy to read. I am loving this book. I'm excited to see where it's going. I'm giving this easily 5 out of 5 nerd skulls, more if I could. Just read this book. You will love it. It is amazing. Read it.
All right, I got to review Justice League of America number 5. Last issue ended with this crazy death of Catwoman with her brains blown out and all that kind of stuff. What's going to happen here? Well, I mean, she's a big character. She has her own ongoing series. Obviously, she's not dead. I don't know, they explain all that in this issue, which is kind of like, I saw it coming. But either way, still a cool issue. You finally kind of see the team together, and then at the end of the book, you see Waller kind of pulling Trevor's strings to kind of manipulate him and to keep the team going. They have something big happen to set up for the next storyline. I assume it's the next storyline with Dr. Light at the end of the issue, but all in all, I think this is a great book. I just want to see more of it. I want the story to start getting moving, and I think now that we've come past that introductory point of this, that's what we're going to get in the following storyline. So, love this book. I'm getting it 4 out of 5 nerd skulls.
All right, guys. So I'm reading Superman number 21 this week as well, and I have not actually read any Superman. I think maybe I read it in the very beginning of the New 52, but I haven't really been reading a lot of it. No, I read Action Comics. I did not read Superman at all. So I'm not really too familiar with all the things that they've been doing. I know what's going on with Justice League and things like that. But I'm pretty familiar with the character, and having just been on a Man of Steel high, I wanted to check it out. And I'll be honest, it's actually kind of cool. And it's not too different from what I remember DC being before the New 52, like Hector Hammond being crazy and like powerful. They kind of kept him the same, which makes sense because they didn't do anything with Green Lantern. But I really like the new Queen Bee and Hive and how that's working. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed that, like crazy future tech with like biological stuff. It's really sweet. I like the concept they're using in it, and Kenneth Rockford is an amazing artist. So this book has some great qualities to it. I was just kind of confused on the story, which sucks. I kind of want to go back and read it. So I can't give too much detail on that without kind of spoiling a bunch of stuff, I'm believing. So definitely check it out. But I really like what they're doing with Clark's like inner thought process and how he's going through everything, and he understands like I can't do this, I have to do this a certain way. I like that they're grounding him a lot more, and that's something that this character really needs, because it's really easy for anyone to kind of just, oh well, it's the Superman, he's gonna do whatever, and make it not believable. So I really enjoyed that with this issue. Artwork's great, story was great. 3 Nerd Skulls. It was a 3 Nerd Skull book. It wasn't a 4. I almost said 4. It wasn't bad.
Hey guys, I just read Batman Superman number 1. I was really excited for this issue going in, and in the first few pages I was a little let down, but then it ended up coming back, and it was a really, really good issue. A first issue especially really gets you excited for what's to come for the villain that they kind of create in this issue. It's nobody I've ever seen, and I'm excited to see where they go with him or her. That's a little up in the air at this point too. And I just loved it all. The first few pages, like I said, were a little misleading, a little confusing. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Still definitely worth checking out.
I got to review Uncanny X-Men number 7. I have loved this book from the beginning. This is just really good storytelling. I love Bendis on the X books now that he's done with the Avengers. He's doing a really great job. This one kind of tells what happens in Limbo with Illyana and the rest of the team, and she's talking to Doctor Strange, and I don't want to give away the ending because the ending is actually pretty cool, and it sets up for it shows a main character and how much knowledge this character has possibly had this entire time, and it was just really well done. I wasn't expecting when we got to the end, because the whole dialogue throughout the book, you're thinking it's current, and then they show you something and it's not. But either way, I love this book. I can't wait to see what else they have in store for it. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, I read Age of Ultron number 10 AI. And I was really confused with this book when they advertised it. I did not know what was going on. Once Age of Ultron ended, I was even more confused because I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense. But it's actually really awesome. It centers completely on Hank Pym, and it's mainly told from his point of view, like in his head, and he's in a really dark place. It's right after Age of Ultron, and he kind of realizes all the things that have been happening to him, and it just takes you through his life and how he grew up. And Mark Waid does a really, really, really great job at internal monologue, and this book definitely like shines at that, because Hank Pym is a great character. I just always felt that he wasn't the best. He's never the best, and they really play with that here. Like, he's really awesome, and he's very important to everyone, to the whole Marvel universe. If he wasn't there, the Avengers probably wouldn't be around. He's a linchpin character, but there's all these other guys that kind of outshine him, outdo him, outthink him. But it's really awesome because it kind of highlights he's the one limiting himself. So definitely check this out if you like character-driven comic books with some pretty decent artwork. It was actually really awesome, and it goes through like, you know, different eras in comics and in costumes, and an artist that can handle that really well is really awesome, and this guy was cool. So definitely check this out. This is a 4 out of 5 Nerd Skull book. A solid 4, a very solid 4.
Hey gang, Jasper here with my review of Justice League issue 21. Now, this is an interesting take, as Shazam, or at least Billy Batson, has been going throughout the whole series up to now, doing a culmination of his backstory, or at least introducing him as a full-fledged character into the Justice League issues. Prominently, you also get a backstory with Shazam's arch nemesis, Black Adam, but the culmination to it is just downright awesome due to the fact that they really put all out into the whole emphasis of Billy Batson and, Black Adam. What's more interesting about it is what happens during the issue when Black Adam pretty much threatens Billy Batson's friends, which is pretty much the whole importance to the issue because it centers around not just himself, but other characters who are less known in effect, but who are very important to Billy. What's more interesting enough was the end result with what happens to Black Adam. But the only way for you to find out is definitely you got to check out this issue. I totally give it a 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Awesome issue. Definitely check it out.
Hey there nerds, Jim here with my comic book review of the week, and I got to read Lazarus #1 from Image Comics. It was an interesting concept. It's basically set in the future where extremely wealthy families rule everything, and then the people that serve them are called serfs, and the people that basically don't have anything to do with them are called waste. Obviously that gives a prime example of what they think of them. Each family is assigned basically a sort of protection, what they call Lazarus. And in the Carlisle family, it's the daughter Forever. Interesting name. I really like how they go about telling this because they start off with Forever defending the home from an invasion of people, waste, who just wanted food. And in this futuristic setting, she just slaughters them. And it's kind of sad, but they were thugs, so it's kind of good. And they describe it as this is normal, but she obviously has a problem with this, which is interesting because she's the Lazarus, she's the sword, she should be fine with this. So I like how they're going with this little dilemma with how is she dealing with being who she is. The story beyond that leads into there's going to be a war between another family, Moray, who already started a conflict that we see, and there's obviously some bad blood there going forward. And we see more of Lazarus doing what she has to do as far as what the family requires of her. And we see her brother, who is on one hand being nice to her because that's what his role is, but on the other hand kind of being the jerk of the family because that's the role he also takes on. Right now I'm not sure where this is going to go. I really like this character of Forever and I want to see how she progresses, so I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. I recommend it, but I want to see where we're going to go with it.
Hey guys, I just read Jupiter's Legacy #2 and I really enjoyed it. I have to say in the first issue, although I loved it because it's framed quietly, it's Mark Millar, of course it's going to be good, it felt like it was just a kind of a show-off issue. Where's the conflict? Of course these are rock star superheroes and they do drugs and they drink like 80 shots a night. It's ridiculous, but where was the conflict? In the second issue, they definitely bring it in. There's kind of a son-father conflict going on, and you definitely want to read this issue because it just creates the whole tone for what's to come in this series. So pick it up. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I got to read X-Men #2, and holy crap, man. This is an awesome X-Men book. This is exactly what I want my X-Men to be, especially when it's drawn by Olivier Coipel, because you could just look at any of the characters, just sit there, just stare at it, and it's awesome, and there's like a baby yawn in one panel, and I can literally just stare at that for 3 hours, just, oh my god, that just looks so good. It looks really awesome, the expressions and everything. I'm a huge nerd for him, so of course, I'm gonna love it for that. But anyways, the book itself, the story is great. I mean, if you left off with the last issue, you know, like things are gonna go crazy. Oh my god, who's John Sublime? What the hell's going on? It's like, it leaves with a big cliffhanger, and this definitely has the action to like sate you like completely. Kitty Pryde, of course, shines. She's awesome. Rachel Gray is all yelling at everyone and stuff like that. But overall, it's just a really cool issue that's leading into some bigger stories that I can't wait to see how they unfold. It looks like it's gonna be awesome. There's a lot of potential in this X-Men book, and I really hope it lives up to all of that. So I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Go read this. Why aren't you reading this? Stop listening to me. Go read this.